Hi, friends. This is Dr. Rakesh Shah along with Kashmir Shah from Atlanta, Georgia, right now in a coffee farm near Medellin, Colombia, about to start our coffee tour. And our tour guide is Matteo.
Hope you today are going to live the best experience with coffee in your lives. Okay, so pay attention on the truth. You have any questions? Mateo, please repeat. The English is very bad. I repeat the time you need it, okay? Don't worry. The idea is for you to understand everything. Okay? Now, in this farm, we have been working 9 years to rescue Paisa tradition. Do you know what Paisa means?
Country? No.
Paisa is the nickname for the people that live in Colombian Coffee region. All the Colombian Coffee region is belong to the Paisa people. Okay, there is a very common term, paisano. It means blood brother or people from the same blood. Okay, for example, where are you from?
Atlanta.
Oh, very good. And you? US. You. Ah, yes, so yeah. Okay. And you? And you? Yes. For example, you four are from US, so you are paisanos of the US. He and me, we are paisanos of Medellin. Yeah, you are paisanos too of US. You are paisanos. Okay? So you say, oh, boy, this man is crazy. What is he talking about? Paisas, paisanos. We are on a coffee tour. Look, it's because the paisas were the first arrieros here in Colombia. The arrieros, they were desert merchandisers in the past, the moros. They were people who used these typical clothes to merchandise in the desert. But they came to America in the past to be not desert merchandisers, mountain merchandisers, and not in camels, in mules. The arrieros were the ones who introduced the coffee in America, and they duplicate the number of towns in Colombia in only 180 years. That's why they deserve all our respect. We can't make a coffee tour without talking about the arriero. The coffee is the product that is today, thanks for them. Okay? So all the people say, Paisas are narco-traffickers, liars, stealers like Pablo Escobar. No, we aren't like that. We are like these people, like the arrieros. We know how to earn the honest money with hard work. Okay? And you're going to understand more about that in the coffee history. But first, a very important question. Do you like coffee? All of you! I'm very sad for all of you. You're in the wrong group. For example, I don't like coffee.
I don't.
The coffee industry is very bad. Okay? The doctors say the coffee produces gastritis, heart attack, stomachal cancer. Don't drink coffee, is the worst product. Other doctors say, no, the coffee is good, drink coffee. Who has the truth? I don't like coffee. I love it. But I love the good coffee. And that's why I hope for you. I want for you to start to hate the bad coffee and to start to love the good coffee. Because maybe only a 20% of the coffee in the world is good. And the people don't know that. Okay? Now, you today are going to learn three principal lessons. The first one, at the end of today, I hope each one of you are going to be able to recognize the quality of the coffee. To say, oh, this coffee is better than this one because it has these characteristics. The second lesson, you can have one of the best coffees of the world, but if you don't know how to prepare your coffee, you destroy everything. So you're going to learn how to prepare a good cup of coffee. And the third lesson, which is better, drink coffee to drink or drink coffee to enjoy? To enjoy is the best way. Okay, so I'm going to teach you professional tasting techniques to enjoy your coffee every morning. Okay, so now first, have you ever seen a coffee bean in your life or not? It's like this. When you open the bean, there are the almonds inside. This is the part that the industry uses. The almond of the coffee bean. Please take this, and pass it to you. Feels like slimy, slippery, sticky substance. What happened? In the past, the coffee was used, the most of the coffee was for the soldiers, especially in the Second World War, because they had to be awake to prevent enemy attacks. Okay, what happened? At that time, Colombia was the biggest producer of coffee in the world between the 1930s and 1940s. The coffee at that time, Colombia started to send a lot of coffee to Europe for the soldiers, but the transport was very slow. Okay, to go from here to Medellin at that time, it was 6 or 7 days on a mule, and then 1 month by ship to Europe. Imagine the coffee with this slimy substance, 6 or 7 days on a mule, and then 1 month by ship to Europe. Attract fungus, mosquitoes, larvae, plagues, a lot of bad things. So the soldiers in the Second World War had to drink the coffee for the caffeine, but the flavor was not good. Okay? So here in Colombia, being the biggest producers, we start to say we can't allow this. The coffee is a very good product, but the people is thinking that the coffee is bad because the coffee get there in bad conditions. Okay, we start to analyze and to research, say, how can we preserve the properties of the coffee for a long time? So we start to say, oh, maybe the lime substance, this tastes sweet. We are going to taste this on a moment. This tastes sweet. They say maybe the sweet substance of the coffee is the ones who destroy the properties of the coffee with the time. So maybe if we wash this, we can preserve the properties of the coffee for a long time. So here in Colombia, we start to wash the coffee. Colombia was the first country to start to wash the coffee in the world. And that became the Colombian secret. That's why you are here today. Some people say that Colombian coffee is the best of the world. It's because look at this. This is the major line of the coffee. All of you can see. This is the major line of the coffee. First, the coffee is green, then is yellow, red, and at the end is purple. You know what? When you have a fruit, between more mature, more is sweetness. Okay? The sweetness flavor of the coffee is full of antioxidants. So between more mature, sweetness, and more antioxidants. And look at this. The antioxidants dilute the caffeine. So between more mature, sweetness, more antioxidants, and less caffeine. For example, in this green coffee, you have this quantity of caffeine, but this quantity of antioxidants. In the mature coffee, this quantity of antioxidants, but this quantity of caffeine, the opposite. Okay, so what happened? When Colombia started to wash the coffee, we removed the antioxidants, so the caffeine increased. And the Colombian coffee started to be famous in all the world. It was the first coffee with the caffeine flavor. Okay? The caffeine flavor. Okay? So countries like Venezuela, Panama, Ecuador, Mexico, they start to say, why Colombian coffee is the best? We have also good soil, good weather, good mountains. Why Colombian coffee is better than our coffee? They discovered that because Colombia washed the coffee. So every country in Latin America started to wash the coffee. And that's why I say to you that the coffee industry is very bad. Because look at this. This is very slimy. Very, very slimy. So the industry to wash only 1 kilogram of this coffee, they use 30 liters of water. So for each kilogram of coffee you are drinking in your house, in any part of the world, the industry is throwing to rivers and creeks 30 liters water full of the slimy substance of the coffee. That is very bad for the environment because this slimy substance is natural sugar. The natural sugar into the water absorbs the oxygen and you can't drink that water anywhere. So this industry pollutes a lot. Look, only the Colombian coffee industry pollutes 1.5 more times than Colombian population. So if, for example, we were 40 million people here in Colombia, this industry pollutes like 60 million people. And that is only in Colombia. Imagine Brazil that produces 3 more times. Vietnam that is the second producer. The quantity of water we are polluting to wash the coffee. Oh, look at this small example. We are small producers in this farm, but we produce between 1,000 and 2,000 of kilograms of coffee at a year. Imagine we washing that quantity of coffee. Each farm on this area, each farm on Colombia. Very, very sad. Okay? Now, 10 years ago, experts from Harvard and Oxford University started to research about the coffee, the official research. Remember this. This coffee bean is more special than you think. The industry normally uses this only for the caffeine, but this has a lot of use. Okay? What happened when they start to research? In the past, we used to think that the coffee has his own family, the coffees. But they say, no, 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 the coffee is similar to other fruit. Which fruit do you think is similar with the coffee? Berries, very good. Cranberries. Yeah. Which one?
Berry, yeah, berry.
Which other fruit?
That goes good with coffee.
Cherries, for example, very
yeah,
similar. The grapes. Okay. So they discovered that the coffees is not an own family. The coffees is a subfamily of the cherries. So this coffee bean has same properties than cherries. This is the analyzed fruit with more antioxidants in all the world. 7 more antioxidants than grapes and 4 more antioxidants than the green tea. Very good. The antioxidants are very good for our health. What is the problem? All the antioxidants are on the skin or the slimy substance of the coffee, the parts that the industry is throwing away. Okay, so when experts of those universities discover that, they say, why we are washing the coffee today? We know that in the past it was for the slow transport, but now the transport is very fast. To go from here to Medellin is only 45 minutes, and to go to Europe is less, it's only 1-2 days. We can preserve the slimy substance that time. Why we are washing the coffee? They discovered 2 principal reasons. The first one, to supply the demand. Why? The coffee is the second drink most consumed in the world before the water. And only the 45% of the coffee in the world is to drink like a cup of coffee. The other 55% is for bakery and artisans, drinks like Coca-Cola. Imagine the quantity of coffee they have to produce to supply the demand. A lot. If you have a high demand, you have to store the product to control the price. You can't say, oh no, we can't sell coffee this week because we have a plague, so we have no coffee to sell. No, you have to store it to control the price and to avoid plagues. Okay? For example, a coffee you drink in your house, actually, that coffee has been collected and roasted 6 or 7 years ago. It's a very old coffee because it means you have to control the price to supply the demand. That's the first reason. If they don't wash the coffee, they can't store the coffee in this way for 6 or 7 years. Imagine that. Because remember, when you store the coffee, you store it with the parchment, not roasted. You roast the coffee in the last form. Okay? So they can't store this roasted. They store it in this way. If this with the limey substance, get damaged in only 1 month or less. Okay?
So if,
That's
it,
the first
so
reason.
if it is washed, it can be stored for 6 7 months.
Exactly. Because it's without the limey substance. The limey substance is the part that start to destroy, to avoid plague, to attract plagues because it's sweet. Okay? That's the first reason, to supply the demand. The other reason is because the coffee has two principal plagues, the broca and the roja. The broca is a little beetle. Broca in Spanish, in English means drill. So the broca, as the name, drills into the coffee bean, start to eat the almond inside, and start to put eggs, larvae, and poop into the coffee bean. Please look at this hole into the coffee bean. Can you see the hole there?
So that's open then?
Yeah, let me open this one and show you. Look at the hole. This is the hole that the broker made to get into the coffee bean. Now, look, this is the coffee bean with the hole of the broker. Okay.
That one don't.
Look, the bad beans eaten by the broca or with some type of fungus are called pasillas. Why? Because the broca eat the inside almond, so this gets empty or with less weight. Okay, so when you are washing the coffee, the pasillas, it doesn't name because the coffee, these coffee beans pass because it has less weight. Okay, so when you open this, oh, and I want to show you how is it inside. Okay, but look, that is very bad. They broke. Okay, so what happened when you have a plague like this one in your plantation? What the people normally use to kill this type of plagues? Pesticides. And remember this. Have you ever heard that the coffee is like a sponge? The coffee is like a sponge. The coffee absorbs everything around. For example, when you go to a parfum store, they give to you coffee because you smell the coffee. The coffee absorbs the aromas in your nose, and you are able to smell a new product. Or for example, here in Colombia, when one person vomit on the floor, we put coffee because the coffee absorbs the bad aroma. Okay, but I don't believe you. Buy a cup of coffee. Put an onion inside. After 1 week, your coffee smells and tastes like onion. Okay? So now, if you know that the coffee is like a sponge, you can take advantage of that. But if you don't know, it will be a waste for you. For example, some farmers around here, they don't know that the coffee is like a sponge. And they say, oh, I have pigs in my farm. I use the poop of the pigs like a compost. What do you think is going to be the flavor and the smell of that coffee?
Nasty.
Like poop of pig, like shit. Okay? But if you know that the coffee is like a sponge, if you know that the coffee is like a sponge, you put a banana, apple, mango trees, and the coffee from the ground, absorb those properties and get the fruital flavor. But if you don't know that the coffee is like a sponge, you put pesticides, the coffee absorbs that, and this is poison for everybody. So the industry have to wash the coffee to remove the most of the pesticides, because most of the pesticides keep on the skin and the slimy substance of the coffee. Okay? If the industry don't wash the coffee, this is poison. That's the first plague, the broca. Look, still using pesticides, the broca destroyed 30% of the coffee in the world. Imagine, without pesticides, it would be 60-70%. So they have to obey that and to wash the coffee and to use the chemical. The other plague is this one. It's called roja. Can you see these yellow and brown stripes into the coffee leaf?
Yeah.
It's the roja. This is a fungus. This fungus gets into the coffee tree These don't make something to the flavor of the coffee. These only start to weaken the leaves of the tree. The leaves fall down, and the coffee tree keeps empty like this. Look, compare this one with this. If this is empty, this one not. So what happens? If the coffee tree is empty, the sunlight gets into the tree and it starts to destroy the branches of the tree. Okay? The roya reduces 60% of the production of the coffee tree in the first 7 years old. Between the 7 and the 12 years old, reduce the 80% of the production. And after the 12 years old, reduce the 100% of the production of the coffee tree. That is very bad. This industry that need to produce a lot. To lose the 100% of the production after the 12 years old is very, very bad. Okay? So the industry, what the industry normally use to kill this type of fungus? Fungicides. Especially for the coffee, oxychlorurous of copper. That is very bad for our health. Okay? So we start to analyze that. The coffee is not bad, but if you put pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, those chemicals are the ones who produce gastritis, hair attack, stomach cancer for us. Okay? Now, in this farm, we produce a special coffee. The 50% of the coffee we produce here is this one. It's called cherry or natural type. Look, this type is not a special coffee bean. It's the same coffee bean, but different way to dry it, to dry the coffee beans. So the 50% of our coffee, we pick up the beans and we dry the whole bean like this. Okay? It looks like a cherry, so that's why the name. So in the drying process, the almond inside absorb all the antioxidants from the skin. These are very fruitful coffee. 50% cherry. The other 50% is this one. It's called honey type. Why? The slimy substance of the coffee feels like honey. It's not real honey, but we call like this. So the 50% of our coffee, we remove only the skin. We throw the skin, but we use the inside almond with the slimy substance. We don't wash our coffee. So 50% cherry, 50% honey. She told me, Mateo, you want to kill everybody here today because you use chemicals. The coffee absorbs that. This is poison for all of us. No, because in this farm, we don't use pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides. We have good agriculture techniques. Okay? But look, it's very easy for any farmer to say, I don't want to use chemicals. But if they don't use chemicals, they will lose the 90 or 80% of the production because of the place. Okay? So to have good techniques, you have to find a natural way to reduce the impact of these plagues. Okay? So I'm not the owner of the farm. The owner of the farm is called Carlos. We are going to meet him in the last step. Okay? He has been working here 9 years to find the best natural way to kill this type of plagues. Okay? For example, he started with the brook. What happens when you have a plague in your house? For example, you have rats in your house, and you don't want to use traps or chemicals. What do people normally use? To kill the rats. You don't want to use cats. Very good. You think all the natural predators. Okay. So Carlos started to say 9 years ago, oh, if the cats are the natural predator of the rats, which animal will be the natural predator of the broca, of that little bill? Which animal do you think it is? The birds are good, but the birds, they start to pick the bean and they destroy the bean. So the birds are not the best way. No. The person who said it, I give you another cup of coffee for you today. Ants. Lizards.
Termite. Is it an animal or like an insect?
It's a flying insect. Similar to bees. A wasp. Very good, the wasp. Okay. So the wasp, trying to pollinate, they stand up in the coffee bean. They introduce a little tongue into the coffee bean and they start to eat the broca, the eggs, and the larvae inside. So the wasps are the best ones. Okay? But what happened? We are killing the natural cycle and we are killing the animal. Some people say, no, I have to use the chemicals because if I don't use it, the broca eat all my coffee. Why? Because they don't have the natural way. Because we normally, when we saw a wasp, we say, oh, they will kill me. Okay, so you kill the wasp. Okay? But the wasps are the best one. For example, here we put flowers, fruits to attract the wasps because the wasps are the best natural way to control the broca. Okay? So, but what happened? If you use chemicals, you are killing all the natural cycle. So now, continue with that. So what happens when you use chemicals? You destroy all the natural cycle. Imagine that the coffee is with with pesticides. The broca get into the coffee bean, get poisoned, and die. The wasp go to eat the broca that is poisoned, the wasp die. The bird in the natural cycle go to eat the wasp, the bird die. The snake go to eat the bird, the snake dies. All the animals die in a farm that use chemicals. So here we don't use chemicals because we have good techniques. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of animals, mosquitoes, frogs, snakes, butterfly, birds. Okay, so when people like nobody of you, when the people come here with the short pants, we love it because they are going to be fresh blood for our mosquito. But you know, you're lucky to go. But look, what happened? We are killing the insects. Remember, in the United States, the wasps have disappeared at 25% in the last 10 years. In Europe, they are without bees at this moment, without wasps. Okay, most of the wasps they have is only to produce honey, but knowing the natural way to control these plants. Okay, and Albert Einstein said in the past that the end of the world is going to be when the insects disappear, and we are killing the natural way to use the chemical way. We are making the bad process. Okay. So look, and the wasps are also good because when they pollinate in the bananas, apples, mango trees, the particles of those trees keeps on the legs of the wasp, and when they stand up in the coffee bean, the coffee absorbs those products. Okay, so the wasps are very good to improve the flavor of your coffee. That is very, very good. Now, remember, still using pesticides, the broca destroys 30% of the coffee in the world. We don't use pesticides, but thanks for the wasp, we lose around the 35% of the production. I say lose, but remember, we don't lose that. Those bad beans eaten by the broca with fungus, we sell it to the Federation, the National Federation Coffee Makers, and they use that for the soluble or instant coffee. Okay? We don't use those beans in this farm, don't worry. Okay? Now, that is the solution for the broca. To the roya, we can't prevent this. Most of our coffee trees are with roya. Experts 15 years ago developed a new variety of coffee trees, a lot of new varieties, but they are not the best solution. Okay, why? We discovered that that new variety produced bigger coffee beans. What happened with the coffee? Between bigger beans and more almonds inside, less quality. Because imagine that you have this bunch of nutrients, okay, of your coffee. The properties of your coffee in this bunch of nutrients. You have your coffee bean with 4 almonds. If you have 4 almonds, you have to divide this bunch of nutrients between each almond. So 25% for each. 2 almonds, 50% for each. 1 almond, all the properties go to only one. So in the coffee between less almonds and smaller beans, the quality is more. Okay? We discovered that that new variety produced beans of 4 or 5 almonds. So for us, not the best solution. For the business, it's perfect because you are not losing production, and you are getting more coffee. But in this farm, we prefer quality instead quantity. So for us, it's not the best solution. Okay. So Carlos, the owner of the farm, he started to find how can he protect the coffee tree from the sunlight? That's the problem, okay? Because if the coffee tree itself need something to protect it from the sunlight. And you start to think, oh, maybe an umbrella. No, a lot of shadow for the tree and it's not a natural way. Plastic roof. The plastic roofs are bad because the sun digs into the plastic and it starts to produce radiation and cancer in the lead. Okay? So he started to find and he discovered this. The ferns. Okay. Ferns or seeds. Okay? The ferns, normally, they start to cover the coffee tree. Okay, what happened? Normally, the people used to think that when you have a farm full of ferns, it is a signal that the farm is old. Okay? So what happened? The ferns are the best way because they cover the coffee tree and they protect it from the sunlight. They get shadow to the tree. The ferns are the best way. Also, we used to put big trees like that one, the plantain trees. The plantain trees, they have very big leaves. So the leaves of the plantain trees get shadow to the coffee plantain. So look, we have the best natural way. We don't know. Most of the farmers, they don't know all of these natural ways. Okay. Remember, the roya reduces 60% of the production of the coffee tree in the first 7 years old. With the ferns and the big trees, the production is being reduced only at 20-25%. Remember, we can't kill all the problem, but thanks to all of these techniques, we are getting a good step to have a good. Okay? So now remember, thanks to all of these techniques, you are going to eat a coffee bean today. I guess that is the first time in your life. I don't know. Mucila's coffee juice. Remember, remember when you say
Mucila's coffee juice.
to one coffee bean in your mouth, bite a little, Suck the slimy substance and put in your hand the almonds and the skin. Okay, what's the flavor? This tastes like coffee? These don't taste like coffee. Remember, the caffeine awake in the roasting process before not. You can eat 1,000 of these beans, and this has no coffee. Okay? Remember, the coffee has 6 layers. 3 outside layers and 3 inside layers. The first outside layer is the skin. If you want, you can eat the skin. It's good for digestion and it's sweet. Okay. Normally, the farmers they can't use this because it is the layer of the coffee with most of the passes. Okay, normal. No. But you use spices. We don't use. No, don't worry. We don't use spices. No, the bean. No, keep it in your hand like this.
Yeah.
Make the same of me.
I did.
Keep the beans in your mouth and eat the skin. Eat the skin if you want.
Skin?
No, only if you want. No, you want to explain to you what to do with it. Okay. So first the skin. So normally the farmers they can't use this for any food because they use chemicals. Some of them use this for compost, but this is a bad compost. Why? Do you know what is the leachate? Yeah, when you have the trash in your house, you forget to get it. After 5, 6 days, you get it, and it starts to like a horrible substance that smells very bad. And it's called the leachate. Okay, this skin produces that leachate. So if you throw this through your plantation, you're going to take the trash, smell, and flavor. So this is a bad compost. So Carlos, remember the owner of the farm, 9 years ago, he started to say, "Oh, I don't use chemicals, so maybe I will get some products with this." And he developed 2 principal products with the skin of the coffee. The first one, we boil the skin with water, and after 15 minutes, we filter that, and we get an infusion of tea made from the coffee skin. It's my favorite drink of this farm. They're going to try it in the third step. I love it. Okay? And also, we dehydrate this skin, and with that, we produce gluten-free flour. Okay? Look at the good products you can get from the skin. Okay? Now, the second layer of the coffee is the mucilage. The slimy substance of the coffee, remember, is the mucilage. Normally, the people used to call this the mucilage or the honey of the coffee. That's the second layer. The last outside layer, take one of the almonds in your mouth, one of the almonds, bite a little, and when you feel like a crush, that's your tip, okay? No, when you feel like a crush, try to remove the outside layer. It's hard, but try to do it.
You
Otro calón. Otro calón.
Who get it? When you remove a little part, the rest is very
This one?
easy. This one. Good.
But this one I took it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very good.
So the
This one.
greenish
Okay.
part.
This layer is called parchment. Do you know what is a parchment paper? One way to produce a parchment paper is with this layer of the top. But this is very hard for digestion. That's why I say to you to remove this. So look, the coffee with the parchment is called parchment coffee. The coffee without the parchment, this one, is called green coffee. This is the part that the industry roasts. The coffee without the parchment. So the industry removed the skin, the mucilage, and the parchment, and they use this only. They use only this. This green coffee has other 3 inside layers, but they are very hard to remove, so keep it like this. Okay? Now, this green coffee, the coffee without the parchment, eat it.
What? Paper?
No, the parchment paper, no. This is very hard for digest.
I hate the paper, bro.
Normally you see paper, I'm going to lie to you. The flavor is not the best. Some people say take it similar to peanuts, a coconut, something like that. But now I'm going to say to you the benefits of eating this, and you're going to say to me, Mateo, bring me more. Why? When you eat this gets into your stomach, and start to balance your pH, and start to prevent gastritis. This also gets into your stomach, and start to work with the walls of your stomach, and start to reduce fat. This is very good to lose weight. Okay? Now all of you want. Also, this gets into your stomach and start to produce the coffee oil inside your stomach. The coffee oil, you can find it on Google, the benefits of the coffee oil. Experts of Harvard and Oxford University say that the coffee oil is very good to prevent some types of cancer, especially stomachal cancer. It's very good to prevent Alzheimer's, gastritis, brain strokes, heart attacks, tachycardia. So look, all the benefits of eat the coffee bean.
Question: do they sell coffee oils in the States?
Sorry?
Do they sell coffee oils in the States, like in America?
Yeah. Yeah, you can get coffee oil in some parts. And it's very, very good. But it's very expensive because to get the coffee oil from here, you get only a little bit from only 1 kilo. When you prepare your coffee, I'm going to show you that in the third step, the coffee produces the coffee oil. In your house, when you prepare your coffee, you can take the coffee oil. Okay? That is very good. Okay, the crazy goats legend or the Calvin's legend. Why the crazy goats legend? Who of you are more crazy? You two.
Who's more crazy?
Okay. You?
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
wild boy.
Who of you are more crazy?
None of us are crazy.
Okay, you know. Are you crazy? And you, who of you are more crazy? You? Okay, and who of you are more crazy? Okay. Okay. When one person is very crazy like you, we used to say, oh no, you today are more crazy than a goat. That comes from the Chaldees legend, the coffee legend. Más loco que una cabra. It's very common here in Latin America. It comes from the coffee legend. Okay, so pay attention to this. Now, where do you think the coffee comes from? The origin of the coffee. Which continent first?
No.
Europe.
Which continent first? Europe or no?
No.
Vietnam?
Which one?
Vietnam?
No.
Africa.
Africa, very good. Which country of Africa?
So,
The same of the origin of the humans. Very good, Ethiopia. Okay, so pay attention to this. I love this lane. Now, 300 years before Christ, in Ethiopia, there was living a farmer of goats called Kaldi. Kaldi was also a poet and writer. One day, Kaldi decided to went to the forest with his goats. Okay. He went to the forest with his goats, and he started to write a poem on a rock. He was writing a poem on a rock, and in one moment he started to hear a lot of noise. He said, "Oh, what is it? What is that noise from?" He started to fall into the forest, and he discovered that it was his goats. They were jumping and running from side to side, and they were fighting. They were crazy. And he said, "Oh, what is happening with my goats?" He saw that his goats were eating this red bean. He said, "Oh, what is this?" Oh, sorry. He said, "Oh, what is this?" He tasted one of the coffee beans, and he said, "Oh, this is sweet, but these don't have any special. Why my goats are crazy?" He said, "This is very weird." So he take a bunch of these beans and returning to his house, he bring this to the monastery in Ethiopia. In the monastery, the monk people there say to Kaldi, "Okay, Kaldi, we are going to try." They ate one of the beans. They said, "Oh, this is sweet." They wait 2 hours and nothing. So they say, "Kaldi, officially your goats are crazy. These don't have any special. Maybe they have the demon inside. Bring them to a church." Kaldi say, "No, I don't believe that. My goats are not crazy. I don't know what is happening here." Why do you think the goats get crazy? If I said to you before, this has no caffeine. Why the goats get crazy? Why do you think? Very good. The goats has a very similar digestion process than the cows. They have 4 stomachs. So when the coffee gets into the 4 stomachs, with the acidity, it starts a slow roasting process. In that slow roasting process, the caffeine awake and the goats get crazy. And remember, look at this. Experts say that the goats were the animals who introduced people to consume drugs because the goats has a sixth sense in their nose. So when they smell something, they know that the effects they can get eating that product. Okay. For example, when they smell a marijuana leaf, they know that the marijuana get them the effect to be crazy. So they get crazy. The human saw that the goat get crazy. The human eat it, and the human gets crazy. So the goats were the ones who introduced people to consume drugs. Okay. Now let's continue. What happened? The goats, they say, "No, I don't believe that. My goats are not crazy. I don't know what is happening here, but if my goats are happy, I am happy." So we continue bringing the goats every day to the forest to eat these red beans. What happened? The goats eating this every day, they start to be awake with more energy, so they increase the production of milk. And these goats start to be famous in Ethiopia for that. Okay? So every farmer in Ethiopia start to hear about that and they start to bring their goats to the forest of Kaldi. And the Ethiopian goats became the most famous goats in the world for the production of milk. Okay? So the Arabs heard that. In the first century, the Arabs are community that consume a lot of milk, meat, and cheese from goats. So they hear that in Ethiopia they have the best goats, the best quality. They say, "No, we have to go there to buy some goats." They went to Ethiopia to buy some goats. But what do you think what happened in the travel from Ethiopia to Arabia?
No. The production went
The
down.
goats decreased the production of milk because they were not eating the beans. So the Arabs say, "Oh, we were escaping at these people in Ethiopia." They returned to claim and they heard the Chaldeans later. that were not the goats, were these red beans the responsible to increase the production of milk of those animals. Okay? So Chaldean, sorry, well, Chaldean, no, the Arabs start to collect a lot of these coffee beans and start to bring these to the goats in the travel from Ethiopia to Arabia. It was a very long trip in the desert. In the desert, the day is very hot and the night is very cold. Okay, so in the hot days, some of the beans start to get dry. In one cold night, they were in the desert, very cold, and he said, "Oh no, we don't have coal or wood to the bonfire. What we are going to do?" He said, "Oh, maybe these dried beans will function like coal or wood." So they start to take the dried coffee beans and to try to the bonfire. Okay, so first, when the skin start to get burned, nothing happened. But when the inside part, the almond, start to get burned, start to smell delicious. And at that moment, the crazy were not the goats, were the Arabs, trying to capture the delicious smell from the coffee. So look, the origin of the coffee is Ethiopia, but the Arabs were the ones who discovered the coffee like the product that is today. Okay? And they also start to classify the coffee to say, okay, this green bean that produces a very bitter and sour cup of coffee, they say, we don't like this. So this is going to be Robusta species. And these have to be planted below than 1,000 mil level of the sea. Okay? But this red bean, they say, we love it, produce a very soft and sweet cup of coffee. They say this is going to be Arabica species. And these have to be planted above that 1,000 mil level of the sea. Okay? So Robustas Arabicas. Bitter and sour, sweeter and soft. Okay? Now, for hundreds of years, the coffee was a secret drink, only for sultans and kings in Arabia. The coffee bean arrived in Europe. When the coffee arrived in Europe, the people start to be awake and it start to increase the number of revolutions. Okay, so the kings and the governors start to say, we can't allow this. So they start to say, okay, now, the coffee bean, the coffee cup keeps the people awake. This is magic. So this is a demon drink. We have to forbid this. And the coffee was forbidden at that time in Europe and became a drink only for sinners. That's why you love the coffee and me not. I'm not a sinner, okay? So look, for many years, the coffee was a drink only for sinners, but remember good this name. In the year 1620, the Pope Clement VIII, he heard that it was a drink only for sinners that keeps the people awake. It was magic. The Pope said, no, I don't believe that. Please, bring me a cup of coffee. I want to sin today. The churchman in the house of the Pope bring to him a cup of coffee. He drink the cup of coffee, and he said, this is not a demon's drink. This is delicious. From today, I give my bless to the coffee, and I hope it's going to be the drink for all the people in Earth. Okay? What happened? At that time, they discovered that Europe, and they don't have the best weather to plant the coffee. There's no extremely seasons. And also, Africa was very far. And Arabia, they don't sell the coffee. So he said, how can I promote the coffee plantations? Because I love the coffee, but we don't have enough production. It was the conquest time here in America. In the conquest time, the colony process, they discovered that here we have very good soil, very good weather, and the best mountains to plant the coffee. So the Pope get an idea. If you at that time went to a church in Europe, you say to the churchman, no, I make these mistakes. I am a very sinner person. The churchman say to you, you don't have pardon of God. If you want to forgive your sins, go to America and plant this bag full of coffee beans by order of the Pope. Okay? So all the people start to come here to America to plant the coffee. Which people? The arrieros. All of those desert merchandisers start to come here to be not desert merchandisers, mountain merchandisers. The arrieros were the ones who introduced the coffee in America, remember? And they duplicate the number of towns in Colombia in only 180 years. Okay? And America started to be the continent that produced the coffee for all the world. Okay? And the coffee became the product that is today, the second drink most consumed in the world before the war. And that is the coffee history. Do you like it or not? Yeah. Now, to show all the respect for the arrieros, we are going to wear their clothes. Okay, so who wants to be my model today? You? Okay, please stand up here. This knot looks like a fighting rooster. Okay? And also the color red of the rooster thing. Look, the hat was not known to protect the neck from the lights of the sun. So they start to wear this to protect the neck and also to protect the neck from mosquitoes. Okay? That's one. The other cloth is this one. Un canasto, por favor. The other cloth is this one. It's called stopper or cover pinch. The name stopper comes from the verb stop, because we stop the leg of the mule here to protect our pants from the rigidity of the leg of the mule. Also, we stop the basket of the coffee here to protect our pants from the dirty of the basket. That's the name. Stop. Bongo. Shh. No más. The name cover pinche comes because in this area we have a very small bird like this size. It's called pinche or copeton. So all the men say, "Oh, my penis is so big," when the real thing is like this little bird, like the pinche or copeton. Okay, so what happened? In the past, the arrieros have to carry 20 mules in front. They can't say to the mules, "Oh, please, mules, stop, I have to piss." No, they have to piss and walk. So the wives of the arrieros make a hole in their pants with a heart shape, and they have to take up the pinche and piss with that. Okay? So when they were in the mule, they want to piss, they raise this and they say, "Ah, hula, hula, hula," and they start to piss away. Okay? That's the name cover piss. Remember that you don't have the hole, don't try to piss.
No, we're not gonna do that.
The other flow is this one. The poncho or muleta. The origin of this cloth is Spain. This was used by burkas and Dutch people to cover all the head and keep this covered only the eye. When this comes to America, we make this cover and we call this muleta. Why? You put this into the ears of the mule and you cover the eyes of the mule to protect from bites or kicks. That's the name muleta. This is a bongo. Yeah. This is the most emblematic cloth for us. This has a lot of uses. For example, if the plantation is filled with mosquitoes, you avoid the mosquitoes like this. Okay? The arrieros, for example, after a hard work, you dry your sweat with this. After a bath, you dry your body with this. The arrieros, they don't have the money to buy beds at that time, so they put a lot of ponchos like this in the floor to sleep. It was the bed for our arrieros. Okay? When they were with their wives to be a gentleman's, oh, there is a little lake there, so they put the poncho for the woman to bath. Also in the past, they used to take this like this way. They divide these in 3 large pieces, and this was the diapers of the babies at that time. Okay. This is the unique cloth that in the emergency case you can use it to toilet paper. Please don't use this today to toilet paper. Okay. You can wear it like this, and this way is when the day is very hot, or like me when the day is very cold. Okay. Look, a normal coffee worker can collect from 100 to 120 baskets of this one full of coffee in only 9 hours of work. A lot of coffee. Okay?
That is the coffee farm we are going up.
Now, which are the 3 things you must do in your life before die to preserve your memory here in the earth? To keep a legacy. The 3 things before that to keep a legacy. Nobody knows?
Oh, you're asking us? Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you
I'm
were selling.
No.
You was asking.
Plant a
okay.
tree.
Plant a tree, very good. The first one.
Have kids
Have kids, very good. And
and do some good things.
no. To keep a legacy.
Huh?
Yeah, doing the food and write a book, make a point, or something like that. Okay, that's the number 2. And the number 4 is meet a paisa, but now you're meeting me, so don't worry. Now, today we are going to help you with the 3 things. First, you're going to take one of the beans you have there. You're going to open the bean, and you're going to come with the almond to plant your tree. Okay? Remember the miscellaneous you took before. With that miscellaneous you can have your paisa baby tonight. And after making your baby, you're going to remember all the things you did today. And you're going to write a book, make a poem, something like that. Okay? So please come here. If you want 1 baby, 1 almond. Open the bean. 1 baby, 1 almond. 2 babies, 2 almonds. 3 babies, 3 almonds. In that way. With 2 different persons, 2 homes. Okay?
There you go.
Come on. How many babies?
You already have
2. The same hole or different holes? Different holes? Be careful. The mislead is making effect on you. Be careful.
Let's start with 1. Let's.
Tree is going to be like this. This is called match coffee because it looks like a match. 1 month later, It's going to be like this. The leaves start to grow. And 1 month later, it's going to be like this. This step is called chapola. The women that collect coffee are not arrieras, remember, are chapoleras. Why? This is called chapola because in this area we have a butterfly called chapola. Okay? This has two of them, it looks like a butterfly. Okay? So the women that collect coffee are called chapoleras because the women are beautiful like butterflies. And the women get life to the coffee plantation. Okay? The women are the best workers in the coffee industry. You recognize better the colors than us, so you pick up the best beans, and also you are the best workers with 2 hands. You are multitaskers. Okay? So the best workers in the coffee are the women. That's why this is chapola and the women's chapoleras. So 1 month here, 1 month here, 1 month here, 3 months. Oh.
So, is it
Yo.
Yes.
Chapola 3 months. When we have the chapola, we pass the chapola to this recipe. And here the coffee tree stayed 3 months more. When this is with 20 centimeters height, we pass this to the plantation. In the plantation, takes 1 year to start to produce. So 3 months to the chapola and 3 months here, 6 months. Plus 1 year, 1 year and a half. If each one of you return here in 1 year and a half, we give you the plantation of your coffee tree. But you have to bring the homework done. What's the homework?
baby?
Your baby and your boat. Okay? Nobody has to do the homework. Hey, please come on. Look right there. Can you see that black point in the middle of the tree there? Sorry. It's the biggest nest of wasps we have in this farm. If you want followers for Instagram, you can try rock and run away. Okay? So,
The top of a coffee farm, 45 minutes outside of Medellin. Look at the beauty.
you want a picture with this back? Why? The branch is the steel of the bean. If you take the coffee beans with the branch, we lose production because in this branch will grow new coffee. So the best way is with one hand, take a strong the branch, and with the other, peel the coffee to a side like a banana, like this. Don't twist the coffee or don't take it like this. No, only peel to a side and collect only the red beans. At this moment, we are near to the harvest season. So we have a lot of green beans, not mature, but you can pound into the tree and you get the mature beans, okay?
Heading towards the coffee farm to pick up the coffee.
2 tons of coffee at the year.
Oh wow, 14,000 trees.
On 1 year, in the most harvest season, produce only 1 kilogram of coffee, each tree.
1 tree only
Not a
1
lot.
kilogram. Wow.
Only 1 kilogram of coffee.
So how many times in a year? Like you 3 seasons?
Yeah. Normally, we change the plantation each 7 or 8 years.
So you cut the tree down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now remember to collect the coffee, found inside.
No, that's not red.
A little bit, yeah. They have to
Not
be
red.
red, completely red.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
like these ones, for example. For example, this
It's
one,
not
look.
totally.
I move it to a side, I pull to a side, look, without the
Oh,
branch.
you twist it.
No.
no twist.
Peel to a side, like peeling a banana.
Okay, yeah,
Like
that's
peeling
what
a
I did.
banana, like this, yeah.
Uh-huh.
White flowers are called puntillas. The puntillas grow to notice that the coffee will grow very close. Okay? So if the coffee tree is full of puntillas, it's because the coffee tree is going to produce a lot. If you take the puntillas, you cut the puntillas, the coffee don't grow. So please keep the puntillas on the tree. This was only for an example.
So coffee go from the puntillas or puntilla is a different?
The puntillas grow first, and then when the puntillas fall down, grow the coffee.
Grow the coffee.
From the same
Yeah, in
spot?
the same point.
Same point, okay.
Okay, so if you take a puntilla, it's like taking a coffee bean.
Oh, okay.
And look, for example, collect these beans. One bean here, one bean. Yeah, but there are no other mature beans, but only a few.
Uh-huh.
We don't go into the plantation because we are on a winter season, rainy season. So the ground is very slippery at this moment. It's a little bit dangerous to go there without the special shoes. Okay? Collect around. Remember, you have to pound into the tree. Please follow me. Let's continue. Each one of you, take off your baskets. Everybody, take off your baskets. Machine. Okay? Then you move the machine in front, from left to right, in this way. Like this. This machine is to peel the coffee. So the skin go back, and the coffee without the skin, in this way, get into the basket. Okay? Remember, this is to peel the honey type. The cherry, we don't need to peel it because we use the whole layers, okay? So you peel this, and after this, all your coffee is going to be on this little hill. So with your hand, you move it into the basket. This is very slimy, so you can go to the bathroom to wash your hands. And also, because all the coffee without the skin get into this basket. When we have all the coffee here, we add water to this basket, and the bad beans, the pastillas, float. So we get the bad beans from the top of the basket. It's the first filter to get the bad ones from the good ones, okay? Oh, the both baskets?
Yeah,
You work together.
yeah. I don't work. I just the other way.
Faster, faster. Very good, faster, faster. Ah!
You have to take the beans.
Remember, no, only in front. Remember. And now with your fingers, move it, and then you go to the bathroom to wash your hands. This way, you can't produce honey, cherry tart, caracolillo, something like that, and try it in the artificial way. No, you have to be this natural way. The natural way is like this. These are called an African bed. Okay, at the sun. Only the 10% of the coffee in the world is being dried at the natural way. The 90% is in the artificial way. The artificial way is very bad because they use furnaces with colored wood. The colored wood smells smoke and the coffee absorbs that smoke. That is the coffee that produces cancer, gastritis, heart attack. Okay, so the artificial way is the worst. So you say to me, Mateo, if the natural way is the best, why only 10% of the coffee in the world is being dried at the natural way? Because look at this. This one is a honey type. Okay? And this one, the black color, like black or brown color, is a cherry type. This coffee in the artificial way will be ready in only 5 or 6 hours. In the natural way, the honey type takes 20 days, and the cherry type takes from 40 to 60 days.
Wow.
Look at the difference. Okay? But what happened? The companies, normally the big brands, pay to do the same if you dry the coffee in the natural or the artificial way. Okay, so if the artificial way is the cheaper way and the faster way, the coffee producers prefer the artificial way. Now, this natural way is very important because remember the coffee is like a sponge. So in the natural way, the coffee absorbs more properties than in the growing process. For example, 3 years ago, we made an experiment. We put marijuana leaves in the bag and the coffee to the marijuana leaves. At that time, our coffee takes the CBD properties. We sell our coffee at that time at $250 a kilo. Now we can't produce that because that is illegal here in Colombia. So if you are a policeman, no, we don't have. But if you are not a policeman, yes, we have. Okay. Now look, we have to move this every day to avoid plagues with this tool. Also, for example, if it starts to rain, we have to put the roof. If it stops to rain, take off the roof. So it takes a lot of care. For example, here we have cacao or cocoa. So the coffee after the chocolate coffee. Mateo, you stand up into the coffee, you are getting dirty the coffee. Don't worry. Remember, here the coffee is with the parchment. Okay, so we are getting dirty the parchment. We don't use the parchment even for the parchment paper. Okay, so don't worry. Look, if you open the coffee bean, the coffee is clean inside. Okay, so don't worry with this. Okay? No, the tea. This is a tea.
Oh.
So if you have to make from the coffee skin. Remember, we take the skin of the coffee, we boil that with water. And after 15 minutes, we filter that and we add honey and lemon to get this tea. So the coffee you peel before with water. Okay? Then we filter the skin to get only the water and we add the lemon and the honey.
So that is a skin tea, and the one mucilis was from the
Exactly.
slimy
We use
portion of
to dehydrate the skin, eat together at the same time the plantain and the cheese. That mix between salty and sweet substances in your mouth awake your brain to feel the properties of the coffee you're going to drink in a moment. That's why we're bringing this to you. Okay? Eat together at the same time.
So plantain and cheese to wake up the senses for the coffee.
Only 20% is Arabic. Okay? And that's why Brazil is the biggest producer. All the Brazilian coffee is bitter and sour, but that's why Brazil is the biggest producer. Because
Not
remember,
Vietnam.
as I said to you before, the Arabica tree is very delicate. So if rains a lot, the water destroy the tree. So to avoid that, you have to plant the Arabica tree on hills, so the water fall down. Okay, but the Robusta tree is very strong, so you can plant it on flat places because the water don't destroy the tree. Okay, so the 80% of the Brazilian coffee is Robustas, so it's planted on flat places. On a flat place, you can use machines to collect the coffee. That's why Brazil is the best producer. Okay, remember 80% Robustas, 20% Arabicas. The second producer is Vietnam. Vietnam produces 80% Arabicas and 20% Robustas, the opposite of Brazil. And Colombia is the third producer at this moment. But we produce 100% Arabicas. All the Colombian coffee is sweet and soft. Okay? And that's why we are not the biggest producers, because all the Colombian coffee have to be collected by humans. Okay? At this moment, China is in the fourth place, but China is planting a lot of coffee. So maybe in 5 years, Colombia is to be in the fourth place and China in the number 3. Okay? Now, the biggest consumer at this moment is Finland. In Finland, the people in average, per capita, the people consume more than 11.5 kilograms of coffee at the year. A lot of coffee. It's like 7 or 8 cups.
So biggest consumer per person or as a total consumer?
No, per capita.
Okay.
Each person.
So per country, which country consumes the most coffee?
Yeah, it's Finland.
Total number of the.
Yeah. The people in Finland, in average, each person consume more than 11.5 kilograms of coffee at the year.
But Finland's population is not that big.
No, it's not that big. That's why maybe they are the biggest consumers. And because they are cold countries. You're going to look about that. The most consumers are cold countries. Okay. The second most consumer country is Norway. In Norway, the people consume in average more than 10.6 kilograms of coffee at the year. And the third place is between. The third place is for Iceland, 9.8 kilograms of coffee at the year. And the fourth place is between Netherlands, Denmark, and Switzerland.
So they're all Scandinavian countries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all those countries in the fourth place consume more than 8.6 kilograms of coffee at the year. That's the people say, no, it's not the United States. No. Because United States, you say more people, so the average is less. And in the United States, at this moment, it's like 6.8 kilograms of coffee in average at the year, each person. Okay? So look, all European countries, in Latin America, we are the biggest producers, but the worst consumers. No one to explain you why. But first, I'm going to explain to you, it was good or no? You want to repeat?
Yeah.
No, we don't have. No. I asked to be confused. No, first.
Damn, for the train.
I'm going to talk about the 2 most expensive coffees in the world. At this moment, the number 2 is this, the coffee luwak. This coffee is produced in Indonesia. Look at this animal. This animal is called civet. This civet or civet is an animal in Indonesia that is jailed. The Indonesian people jail this animal and they hide coffee into the food of the civet. The civet eat the coffee and then they poop the coffee. The Indonesian people collect the coffee from the poop. I don't know why the people pay that quantity of money for this coffee. Because remember, the coffee is like a sponge.
Yeah.
This coffee tastes and smells like poop. They, to camouflage the flavor, they add vanilla, chocolate, or caramel. Okay, for example, this one smells like vanilla. You want to smell it? It smells good. It's a vanilla.
But it's a what?
It's a vanilla. It's a vanilla.
It's a vanilla poop. Yeah.
Vanilla poop.
That's a bird, right?
No. It's like a big rat.
Oh, so why they give it to that animal?
I don't know, because they say that in the digestive process they make something special, but it's a lie.
It's just smells.
I don't know. But it smells good, but it's a vanilla. Artificial flavor.
What's the purpose of?
I don't know, it's a rare item. It's like a Pokemon card. So people pay $1 million for one Pokemon card. It's not the real value, but the people get that value because it's a rare item.
Oh, no.
Into the coffee industry, this is weird. Okay, so the people
for them.
exactly.
Vietnam's and the people.
Look, that is malt packers. Look, this coffee costs between $1,000 to $1,200 a kilo.
Wow.
Look, this small bag of could be the best for me. If I hate bananas, you're going to be the worst. The best coffee is the ones you like. The coffee is like wine. It depends on ones you like. It doesn't exist the best of the world. Okay? So for example, here we produce a good coffee, but it's not the best coffee. It's a coffee with good techniques. Look that difference between a good technique and a good coffee. Okay? Now, let's continue with this. This is the last step of the tour. This is the step of the tour in which you are going to learn more. All the process we saw before it was to start to learn about the coffee. First, you learn about the history, the industry. Then you plant your coffee tree. Your coffee tree grow. Then you collect your beans. Then you leave it to dry it. And then now we are going to roast it. Okay. But before to roast it, we have to know which type of coffee we have. Okay. Look, this is the cherry type completely dried. Look. And this is the honey type completely dried. Look at the difference. This has the skin and the parchment. This only the parchment.
amigo. Que sí. Sí. Esto para la torre. Sí.
Para la carbonato también.
Sí.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so look. Why the cherry is more expensive? Look. Normally the people use a machine called trilladora to remove the parchment of the honey type. Look, now it's very easy. You remember at the beginning it was very hard with the mouth. Now it's very easy. The trilladora, the cost to remove the parchment of this is 600 Colombian pesos for each kilo. To the cherry type, it's very hard to remove this. It costs 4 more times to remove the skin and the parchment. That's why the cherry is very expensive. It costs 200 Colombian pesos. More expensive in the cherry than the honey. That's why this is very expensive. Okay. Now, let's continue. I'm going to show you how the coffee absorbs the antioxidants. So in that way, how the coffee get the caffeine. Just remember, between more antioxidants, less caffeine. Between less antioxidants, more caffeine. Yeah, that way. Okay. Now look, this is a washed coffee. Okay, what's the color?
Greenish.
Greenish.
Green.
Greenish. Tannish, kind of, right?
It's white.
Light skin.
It's white or beige.
Beige.
Okay. This is the honey type with the pre-washed process. Remember, the 50 kilograms of coffee we use only 10 liters water is this one. It's called yellow honey type. This is the honey type without the pre-washed process. The honey with the complete honey. It's called red honey type. Okay? And this one is the cherry. Look at the difference. The cherry without the skin, with the parchment but without the skin. It's called black honey type or cherry natural cherry. Okay. Now, remember, this has no caffeine. I'm going to talk about the caffeine you can activate in the roasting process. Okay. In the washed coffee, has no antioxidants, so you can activate all the 100% of the caffeine. All the caffeine is here. In the yellow honey type, the caffeine reduced 40%. So here you can activate only 60% of the caffeine. Here reduce 20% more. In the red honey type, you can activate only the 40% of the caffeine. And here reduce 20% more. So look, in the cherry type, you can activate only a 20% of the caffeine compared with a washed coffee. This has only 20% of caffeine compared with a washed coffee. So for the people who say to me, Mateo, I can't sleep in the night when I drink coffee. This is the best for you, the cherry type. Okay? Because the normal caffeine for you, and also this has more antioxidants than caffeine. So this is not coffee, this is health. Okay? Now, but the caffeine don't depend only on this. Most of the caffeine depends on the roasting process. For me, it's the most important process in the coffee because you can make all the process good, but you roast the coffee to the wrong level, you destroy everything. Okay? Remove this. There are 16 levels of roast. I'm going to talk about the 4th principle. These aren't the colors. It's only an example, okay? I'm going to talk about the 4th principle. Low, medium, high, and high. Okay? Remember this, the coffee is like popcorn. Okay, when you start to heat the coffee explodes. Some people say, I'm going to buy the coffee to roast it in my house. They buy the coffee in this way, the green coffee. They put this on the ovens in their houses, and the coffee starts to explode. And they say, oh, I made a mistake, I bought popcorn. It's not popcorn, it's coffee. but the coffee explodes. Okay, so to roast the coffee, you have to change between fresh air and hot air. So you use hot air. When the coffee is going to explode, fresh air. Then you continue roasting. It's going to explode, fresh air. And in that way. Okay? The temperature of the oil have to be between 180 and 200 degrees Celsius. That's the perfect temperature. If you want to get a coffee faster, you can. I'm going to put more temperature. No, you have to be the same temperature, more time. Okay? Remember, there are 16 levels of roast. I'm going to talk about the four principles: low, medium, high, or high. Remember, the coffee before the roasting process with 12% moisture. I'm going to give you a time in average of hot air to get these levels of roast. Okay? To the low level roast, 5 minutes of hot air, and this gets with 11, 10, or 9% moisture. To the medium level roast, 6, 7, or 8 minutes of hot air, and this gets with 6, 7, or 8% moisture. To the medium high, 9 or 10 minutes of hot air, and this gets with only 5, 4, or 3% moisture. To the high level roast, more than 10 minutes of hot air, with fresh air, it will be the double, 20, 25 minutes, and this gets with only 2 or 1% moisture. Now, a question for you. Which one of these levels do you think has more caffeine? The low, medium, high, or high? One by one.
This one is the highest caffeine because
This is the high level roast. Okay?
Okay.
Which one do you think has more caffeine? One by one.
First one.
You say low. What do you say? Low. Low.
no caffeine releases when it gets roasted. So this one is the highest caffeine.
Okay, you say the high.
Yeah.
You too. Okay.
We'll go with high.
High. Okay.
So, okay. All right.
High. Okay. Who say low? Who say high? Raise your hand. Very bad. Okay. Who say low? Very good. Okay. Look. In the low level
We
roast,
believed you.
Because you said initially that when you roast, that is when the caffeine
no,
gets released.
when you start to roast the coffee, the caffeine awake. Before not. Okay. I don't say that in the highest roast. I say that when you roast the coffee, the caffeine awake.
So I realized that okay, you roast more
No.
and more caffeine will be awake. So that is a logic I applied.
Exactly. No, but look,
I like it. I like
that's why the goats get crazy. In their digestion process, they roast the coffee only to the low level. In the low level, all the caffeine awake. Then the caffeine start to get burned, and in the high level roast, no caffeine. That is how they usually make that decaf coffee. They roast the coffee to the highest level, and this level has no caffeine. Okay? So look, it's very important to know about this because most of the people say, "Oh, I have to be awake today to work a lot. I'm going to drink 10 cups of espresso or dark coffee." They drink the 10 cups of espresso and they say, "Oh, I'm sleepy. Why? What is happening with me? I drink 10 cups of espresso. I'm a superhero. The caffeine don't make something to me."
Right.
They are not superheroes. They are drinking coffee in high level roast without caffeine. So if you want to be awake, low level roast. But it also depends. Remember, if it is a washed coffee in low level roast, you activate the 100% of the caffeine. Then it starts to be less. But a cherry type in the low level roast, you start only with the 20% of the caffeine. And then it starts to be less. Depends. Okay, so if you want a balance, the best balance between antioxidants and caffeine, so to have the best of both worlds, cherry type in low level roast. As the caffeine in a normal way and the antioxidant. Okay? Because you can say, oh, if you want less caffeine, so this one in medium high. Yeah, but you have no antioxidants. These you have antioxidants. Here you have antioxidants. Okay? Be careful. Experts say, don't take more than 3 cups of coffee in low level roast on one day. More than 3 cups of coffee or washed coffee in low level roast will produce tachycardia or heart attacks. It depends on your body. If you are used to drink a lot of coffee, it will be 6, 7. But the normal people, only 3 cups maximum in low level roast. Okay? That was the first question. Now the other question. In which one of these levels can you feel the properties of your coffee? What I mean with properties? Can you feel the properties? What I mean with properties? No properties for health. I'm talking about the characteristics of your coffee. For example, a bananas plantation into my coffee plantation. My coffee takes banana properties. In which one of these levels can you feel the banana properties? In the low, medium, high, or high?
Roasting.
What do you see?
Medium.
One by one.
I said low.
Okay. You know the answer. Very bad. Very good.
Right here.
We'll say medium or medium high. Very good. Okay. Look, in the low-level roast, you can feel only at 10% of the properties of your coffee. Why? It's full of caffeine. The caffeine hides the properties of your coffee. Okay, now, ending the medium level roast and only starting the medium high, where there are 16 levels of roast. It's like the level number 9, the first in the medium high. You can feel the 90% of the properties of your coffee. The other 10% depends on the way you prepare it, okay? 90% of the properties, and then the properties start to get burned, and in the high level roast, no properties. So you say to me, Mateo, you don't need the properties. You need the properties for two reasons. The first one, maybe you are drinking trash. Why? You say to me, Mateo, you told to us in the first part that some farmers use Popo Pig. Why my coffee doesn't taste like Popo Pig? You are drinking coffee in low or high level roast. In those levels, you can't feel the properties. So for you, every coffee is going to taste the same. Okay? So what happened? You have a coffee with Popo Pig in higher low level roast has no characteristics. So for you, tastes normal. But drink your coffee with Popo Pig in medium or medium high level roast, tastes like Popo Pig. Okay? When we discovered that, Carlos, he will go to a lot of conferences of coffee, and he was on a conference 2 years ago. And one woman, all the people was very amazed with one coffee because his coffee smells like poop. It was a woman that used Popo Pig for compost. Okay, and that's why we say that in the tour. Okay, we discovered that at that moment. Okay, and all the life, the woman, he was roasting the coffee to the low or high level. So her coffee tastes normal. But for the conference, for that contest, they say to all the people, to feel the properties of your coffee, please roast your coffee to the medium or medium high. It was her first time roasting the coffee to those levels, and the coffee smelled and tastes like food. And the people who were buying the coffee of her all their lives, they were drinking that, and they don't know because it was on low or high level roast.
I have a question. In the Nescafe, what kind of coffee?
Sorry?
The Nescafe.
Nescafe, it depends. Each brand takes
They
some
have
types
an
of
orange and they have a regular one. The regular one is which kind of
no, most of the coffees in the supermarket are in high level roast.
hello?
No Nescafe, yeah, it's like that. If you drink a coffee in high or low level roast without properties, you're not going to enjoy the coffee because it has no characteristics, okay? So that is the first reason. Maybe you are drinking trash. The other reason is because maybe you are losing your money. Because remember, these are the characteristics of your coffee. Remember, if you have no characteristics, tastes the same. So people say to me, Mateo, I buy a coffee of $300. If your coffee of $300 is in high level roast, it's going to taste the same as my coffee of $1 in high level roast. So maybe you are losing your money. If you're going to pay that quantity of money, it's because you want to feel the properties of that special coffee. And some people produce very good coffees. For example, in Peru, they produce very good coffee, but they love to roast the coffee to the high level. So they are making nothing. You can make all the process good, but if you roast it to the high level, you lose all the properties of your coffee. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the real levels of roast, the real colors of the levels of roast.
Coffee before roasting process. Okay. Low level roast. Okay.
Mateo.
Medium roast.
So we will say to me, Mateo, how can I recognize the difference between the low and the medium? The medium level roast has one crack. For example, this is medium, no cracks. Sorry, this is low, no cracks. This is medium. Look at the crack, the difference. Okay. This is the medium high. This is the one that I told you that is the best. The first of the medium high. It's a normal caffeine for your body, and it also has the properties for you.
Medium hot. Okay.
Now, do you want to see the high level roast? The decaf coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
You burnt. Look at Starbucks coffee right there. You said Starbucks?
Look at the name, Fire Race.
Oh, okay.
All fire. So we are just eating the chat.
You imagine you drinking this every day, 2-3 cups. The people say, the coffee is very bad. The coffee is not bad. The doctors know about this. But to avoid all of this explanation, they prefer to say, don't drink coffee. But it's not the coffee. Are the bad practices of the industry. Okay? If you are drinking this every day, it's obvious that you're going to hurt your body. You're going to have gastritis, heart attacks, all of those sicknesses. But a good coffee, without chemicals, natural dry, good compost, and medium, high level roast, don't produce gastritis, prevent gastritis. Don't produce heart attacks, prevent heart attacks. Don't produce tachycardia, prevent tachycardia. Don't produce cancer, prevent cancer. The problem is the coffee you are drinking in your house and the industry that for business love to make this. So that's the big question. But first, the first conclusion of this part is, if you want to be awake, low level roast. If you want to enjoy your coffee, between medium and medium high. If you want to die, high level roast. Okay? Now, but the big question, Mateo, if the high level roast is the worst, why the industry use the high level roast?
Yes. Now.
Okay, there are two reasons. Like also of these two reasons. The first one, what happened? The high level roast tastes stronger because it's burnt. Okay, everything burnt tastes strong. For example, if you bring you a burnt egg, it's going to taste very strong. It's not because it's full of protein, it's burnt. Okay, but what happened with the burnt egg? We know the normal flavor of the egg, so we say, "Oh no, this is burnt." With the coffee, no. Most of the people don't know the real flavor of the coffee, so they think that the real flavor is the burnt coffee. Okay, so what happened? If this is burnt, you have to use less coffee to get a strong coffee. Okay, because it tastes very strong. So look, with 1 kilogram of coffee in high level roast, you can produce more than 100 cups of coffee. You have the same kilogram of coffee in high level, in medium or medium high level roast, you can produce only from 30 to 40 cups. So they still have to use the high level roast to earn more money. For example, imagine this. It's only an example. Starbucks. Starbucks buy 1 kilogram of coffee in high level roast, $10.
Yeah.
They sell more than 100 cups, each one at $2, $3, or $4. So with only $10, they are earning $200, $300, or $400. Okay, that's why we have a Starbucks in every corner. It's a very good business. Look, they can produce if they produce the same quantity of coffee cups, but in medium or medium high level roast, they earn only a 30 or 40% of the money they are earning today. That is also is a good business, but they prefer the best business. Okay, so you go to a Starbucks or any coffee shop and they promote dark coffee, a high level roast, espresso, to sell that to you to earn more money. That's the first reason. The other reason is this one. Remember the pasillas?
The fungus.
No, the pasillas, yeah, are bad beans eaten by the broker or the
Bad beans.
fungus. Both of those blades. Look at this pasilla, pass it to the other. What's the color of that pasilla? Look, pass this pasilla. What's the color? Beige? Black.
Dark red.
Look,
Dark.
look, this is a high level roast and this is a medium level roast. Look at the difference.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
This medium color.
Minimum. What happened if I put this black pasilla into the high level roast? Now because it's in beans.
No color.
But if you ground this, you can't see the difference. Okay? And this is before the roasting process. Imagine when we roast this is completely black. Okay? But if you put this black pasilla into the medium level roast, you can see the black one there. So the industry loves to use the high level roast to hide the pasillas inside and earn more money because they mix 90% pasillas, 10% good coffee. The pasillas are cheaper. One pound of pasilla will cost only 10 or 20% of the normal price of a coffee. So they mix 90% pasillas, 10% good coffees. Nobody controls that because you are free to produce your brand. If you are going to produce a brand of 100% pasillas, nobody controls that. Okay? So for them, it's the bad business. So they love to use the high level roast to hide pasillas and to earn more money. So both reasons are for business. That's why the industry using the high level roast. Now, you're going to smell the best coffee of the world. The Colombian coffee is the best seller brand in Colombia. Okay? The best seller brand in Colombia. I don't want to say the brand for respect. But the best seller brand in Colombia. Okay, smell
It's
it.
a dark color, not medium color.
Sorry?
It's a dark color, not medium color.
I think smell it and say to me if you think this is the best or not.
No, there's no best. Depends on the person.
But
This coffee is 100% pasillas in high level roast.
wow.
The Colombian people, you are different, but the Colombian people come here to the tour, they smell this, and they say, oh, delicious, because it's the coffee we have in our minds. Because here in Colombia, we produce one of the best coffees of the world, but we drink the worst. Because who is going to pay more for a good cup of coffee? A person from the United States, Canada, Brazil, no, Brazil, not. From Spain, France, for example, or a person from Colombia. A person from those countries. So we export the best coffee and we keep the worst because the Colombian people, we can't pay a lot for a good coffee. Okay? So some people like you come here to Colombia to try the best coffee of the world But the best Colombian coffee is in your country, not here.
Mm.
Okay? You go to the supermarkets here in Colombia, you buy this and you say, "Oh, why people say that Colombian coffee is the best? This is very bad." The Colombian coffee is good, but not here in Colombia. Okay?
It's export.
Exactly. We exported it. So if you want good Colombian coffee, buy the Colombian coffee on your countries. Or found a little place. I'm not saying to you, buy the coffee here. No. Most of the coffee tours, they say to you, our coffee is the best. Buy only our coffee. The rest of the coffee in the world is bad. Okay? For example, here we don't have the best coffee of the world. We have a coffee, good techniques. If you like our coffee, good. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Good. We pretend to teach you how to recognize a good coffee. So found a little place like this one. Not here, but like this one. You can see, oh, they don't use chemicals. Oh, they have good compost, natural dry, medium, high level roast. But take the note time and the note money to buy a good coffee. Because this is a daily product. If you don't take the note time and the note money to buy good coffee, you're going to hurt yourself. Okay? We are drinking a burnt product and we don't know. Okay? We don't know that the coffee is burnt. We don't know that we are getting bad techniques to our body. Okay? Look at this. It's better a bad coffee in medium level roast than a good coffee in high level. Okay? Sorry?
High level roast is
The
bad.
high
Espresso,
level
yeah.
roast is
Espresso.
never
It
good.
depends on the espresso because the espresso changes a lot the meaning. The espresso will be a way to prepare your coffee, or it will be the high level roast. So it depends of the meaning you're getting to the espresso in your country. But most of the espresso in the world are in high level roast because the characteristic of the espresso is a strong coffee. That's characteristic of the espresso. And to get the strong flavor, they use high level roast. Okay. Now, how good coffee is my recommendation? Buy the coffee in beans. In beans, you can see the difference between a pasilla and a good bean. Look,
Yeah, we
the
can see.
shape, the size, the color, everything is different.
Mhm.
Mateo, I don't want to buy the coffee beans. I don't have how to grind it in my house. You can use a dry blender. But if you say that, buy your coffee always in medium or medium high level roast. Why? In medium or medium high level roast, the pasillas are black. Remember, you can't have a brown pasilla. So you have your medium level roast, and you see a lot of black points into your medium level roast. Those black points, like this, are pasillas. That's the way to find the pasillas into your medium level roast. It's very hard to know if your coffee has chemicals or not, or something like that. But if you buy your coffee in beans and medium or medium high level roast, you are getting a good step to have good techniques for your coffee. Have a good. Okay. Also, very important, stop to buy the domestic brands. The domestic brands, every domestic brand in the world, not only here in Colombia, are bad. Because imagine, for example, the Starbucks, Juan Valdez, Nescafe. Those brands are very big, international brands. Do you think that those brands have only one farmer that produce for them? They have thousands of farmers that produce for them. Do you think that the thousands of farmers have good techniques?
No.
No, most of them use bad techniques. Okay, so when you're buying a domestic brand, you're buying not all the coffee because you have to store it to supply demand from thousands of farmers and a washed coffee full of chemicals. That's what you're buying in the supermarket. Okay, so stop to buy domestic brands. Found a little place, remember, like this, a small farm. Or buy a single origin coffee. A single origin coffee means that it's a coffee of one single area with one single company. When you buy a single origin coffee, it's a coffee of only one area of one or two or three farmers. So you're not buying a better coffee.
Do you
Single
really say
origin.
that on the?
Exactly. For example, the level of roast, they have to show it in the package. The level of roast. If they don't show the level of roast, it's because it's high level roast. Always. Okay? And remember, stop to buy washed coffee. Start to find honey or cherry type. Because we don't need the caffeine to live, but we need the antioxidants. So start to buy honey or cherry type. Stop to buy the washed.
So it doesn't say on the label washed or unwashed.
Yeah, they have to show that.
Or they,
But most of all the remember this. All the coffee in the supermarket have to be washed coffee. For example, if we want to sell our coffee in the supermarket, we can't. The industry has told us that we have to wash it because they have to store it. They don't know how many times it's going to be in the supermarket or before that. Okay? So all the coffee in the supermarket is washed coffee. If you want a honey or cherry type, you have to find a little place on a special brand. Okay, not in the supermarket. But remember, if you are going to buy a honey or cherry type of one farm in front of us, for example, you have to be sure that they don't use chemicals because some farmers love to produce honey or cherry type, but they use chemicals. If you buy a honey or cherry type with chemicals, it's poison for you. Remember that. Okay, so that's my recommendation for you. Remember, it's not the best coffee of the world, but it's a coffee with good techniques. Natural dry, good compost, no chemicals. We use the medium high level roast, the first of the medium high. Look at the color is brown. Okay.
Can I see?
Remember this? Yeah, you are
It's
going
so
to
strong.
your product. For example, this. It's good for them to show that it's made with poop.
No.
What? Look, what is in the package? The name, the instructions how to prepare the coffee, and the instructions. Only instructions how to prepare your coffee. Because imagine they show you this full of poop, or imagine you having your coffee full of chemicals, bad compost, artificial dry. You're going to die tonight. No, it's not good for them. But you have a good product, it's good for you to show all the benefits. Okay, so the label is a very important signal for your coffee. If a good coffee, you show natural dry, single origin coffee, for example, here honey or cherry type, sanitary register, everything here into the label. It's a very important signal for your coffee. Okay. Can you say, oh, my coffee has honey properties if you have never tasted or how you have never tried the honey? Okay, you say my coffee has watermelon properties, you have never tried the watermelon. So maybe you are drinking a coffee with filler properties, but you don't have the skills, smelling and tasting to know to feel those properties. You have to improve your skills in your house. Now, very good. So look, make this in your houses. Say to your parents, to your partners, please bring me sugar, pepper, garlic, salt. You start to smell. I don't know what is that you taste. Look, the next time she smells each one of these products, she is going to know what is it, because the brain starts to relate with the flavor, and you recognize that. So the next time she smells a cup of coffee, she recognizes the honey smell. She can say, "Oh, this is a honey coffee with honey properties. Oh, maybe coffee has onion properties, something like that." You start to recognize those properties in your food, not only in the coffee, in any food. The next time she go to a restaurant, if she eat a beef, for example, a piece of beef, she can say, "Oh, this has pepper, garlic, onion, butter." Okay, you start to improve your skills to enjoy everything in your life. Okay, hope that. Now you are going to learn how to prepare a good cup of coffee. But before to know about that, it's very important the measure. Some people, when sometimes you prepare your coffee, some people say to me, Mateo, I prepared my coffee yesterday and it was perfect. But I prepared my coffee today and it was very different. Why? It was the same coffee, the same water, everything the same. The measure. You are not using the same measure every day because you don't know about what coffee do you prefer. Okay. So now I'm going to say to you the measures to prepare your coffee to have the best coffee for you. Okay. Mateo, I can't stop to buy the high level roast because I love the strong coffee. Stop to buy the high level roast. Buy the medium or medium high. If you love the strong coffee, use more measure. Okay? But it's very important to know about this. I'm going to say to you now the measures with the coffee in medium or medium high level roast to get these types of coffee. Okay? So you can take one spoon, normal spoon. It's an example. You can take the spoon you have in your hand. Okay? You to take a video or notes, you can. Now, imagine that she loves a smooth, a soft cup of coffee. A flat spoon. 5 grams of coffee per this quantity of water. Look, all the measures I'm going to use for this quantity of water. 100 milliliters or 3.4 ounces. Okay, this quantity of water is for 2 cups of this. Okay, so the measures, all the measures for this quantity of water. So for a smooth and soft cup of coffee, a flat spoon, 5 grams per this quantity of water. He like an American coffee, a normal coffee. It's an example. Yeah. A medium up spoon, 7 grams of coffee per this quantity of water. She loves to enjoy the coffee. So it's not enough to have the coffee in the medium or medium high level roast. You have to use the medium measure. The medium measure is an half spoon. 10 grams of coffee per this quantity of water. Always the 10% of the water you're going to use. For example, you're going to use 2 liters of water, 200 grams of coffee. 1.5 liters, 150 grams coffee. 100 milliliters, 10 grams. Okay? Now, she likes a strong coffee. A strong coffee is 3 medium up spoons. 21 grams of coffee per this quantity. You like an extra strong coffee. 4 medium up spoons, 28 grams per this quantity. You like a Napolitan coffee, very, very strong. 6 medium up spoons. Or if you want to be awake, to be crazy like Turkish people, you can use the Turkish measure. The Turkish measure is 10 spoons of these ones per this same quantity. It's the same quantity of coffee and water. Okay? Normally, the Turkish people, they use this. These are Turkish pots. So they heat sand, they put this on hot sand. The medium is coffee, the medium is water. They start to mix this, and this is not a coffee to drink, it's a coffee to eat. Which is 1 spoon of coffee, 1 spoon of caramel. 1 spoon of coffee, 1 spoon of caramel. Okay? So, for example, imagine you drinking a washed cup, low level roast, Turkish measure. It's a lot of caffeine for you, it will kill you. But if you are trying a cherry type, medium, high level roast in Turkish measure, is normal for you. Okay? Now, those are the measures. For me, a very important thing also, the temperature of the water. If you use very high temperature, you burn your coffee. If you use cold water, the properties can't work. The perfect temperature to prepare your coffee is between 80 and 90 degrees Celsius. That's the perfect temperature. Mateo, I don't know how to take the temperature. When you are boiling your water, when it started to grow the little bubbles into the water, that's the perfect temperature. At that point, you take off the fire and you are going to use the water to prepare your. Don't boil the coffee with the water at the same time. Experts say don't use machines. The machines are good to prepare special coffees. Ristretto, macchiato, frappuccino, cappuccino, something like that. But to prepare your coffee are not good. Because the machines, most of them use very high temperature, so burn the properties of your coffee. Or some of the machines boil the coffee with the water. If you boil the coffee with the water, that change of temperature all the time destroy the properties of it. So look, you can make all the process before good. You found the best brand, the best coffee, the best level of roast, all everything the best. But you use a hot temperature, you destroy all the process. So look, it's not easy to get a good cup of coffee. There are a lot of steps. If you make a wrong process in one of the steps, you destroy all the process. Okay? Now, for me, the best is this one, the French press. Okay? L'agua. Remember, you add the coffee to the water or the water to the coffee. Oh, sorry. The water to the coffee or the coffee to the water. For example, here we are 10 people with me. For 10 people, 10 cups. Each one of these cups is 50 milliliters water. So here I have, for 500 milliliters water, 50 grams of coffee. Here, for 10 medium cups. Okay. Remember, the size of this cup is for tasting. Okay. If in your house you can prepare a big cup or something like that. This is only when you're going to try and prepare. Okay. Now, here I have the water in the perfect temperature between 80 and 90 degrees Celsius before the evaporating process. Matcha, I live on a city with a lot of altitude, so the temperature closer to 90 degrees. So get cold faster. I live to a city near to the sea level, so closer to the 80 degrees. Okay, depends on your city. So first, put the water around the French press to heat from the outside to the inside. Okay, don't put all the water at the same time. All the water at the same time oxidate, no, change the extreme change of temperature into your coffee, so you lose the properties. Okay, now you start to mix and you start to add the water little by little. Use a stainless steel spoon or a good quality of wood. If you use an aluminum or a steel spoon, you oxidate your coffee. The coffee can oxidate very easy, so be careful with it. Little by little. And look, we have to mix. Why? Even if it is a good or a bad coffee, every coffee has some gases that can hurt your kidney. So if you don't export those gases, you hurt your body. Experts say the French press takes 2 minutes mixing and 4 minutes to rest.
So I did it with like a silver spoon, it will contaminate. Like
Yeah. But you have the soap spoon, but a stainless steel spoon or a wood made of wood or aluminum or steel. Remember, little by little to have a gradually change of temperature. Okay. Remember, 2 minutes mixing and 4 minutes to rest. You need only 6 minutes to prepare a good coffee. Just make this. Look, why the French press is the best. Imagine that you prepare your coffee here. You serve only one coffee now. In half an hour, the other. In that half an hour, the air in the up part of your pot oxidate your coffee. But if you have the coffee in the French press, you put the filter at the same level of the coffee, you prevent the oxidation in that way. Okay, that's why the French press is the best. You put the filter at this level, you prevent the oxidation. Now, remember, this is the best way if you are working. You are working, you serve one coffee now, half an hour the other, French press. If you are not working, if you are going to serve all the coffees at the same time, you can use a filter and a pot. You don't need more. Use a metallic filter normally. A paper filter, the paper filters are good, but the paper filter you have to use a new one each day because the same paper filter 2 or 3 days attract fungus, mosquitoes. So, to you how to enjoy your coffee. Look, experts say the coffee have to be tasted the same as wine. The coffee has more properties smelling than tasting. Only smelling you can feel the properties of your coffee, but you have to improve your skills. That's why we made the experiment before. Okay, but first you have to smell 3 times before to taste. Okay, then you have to taste in a way I'm going to say to you. So you smell 3 times before to taste. Now, our mouth is a box of flavors. In the back, we feel bitter substances. In the point of our tongue, sweet substances. In the back sides of our tongue, sour substances. In the front sides, salty substances. And in the up part of our tongue, umami substances. Umami is a Japanese term that means agreeable flavors. Okay, so you have to drink the coffee in that way to enjoy the properties. Okay, for example, Mateo, I love the bitter coffee. Drink all your coffee to the back. Mateo, I love the sweet coffee. All your coffee to the front. Mateo, I love the sour coffee. All the coffee to the side. It's the best way to enjoy your coffee. Or somebody asks to you, taste if this coffee is sweeter than this one. Both coffees to the front and you taste which one is sweeter. Remember, you have to improve your skills. And to feel that, you have to slurp. Don't worry to slurp. People say, oh, slurp is bad education. With soup, yes. With coffee, no. Okay, so when you slurp, you get the coffee directly to the part you want. So first to the back to feel bitter, something like that. Okay, now we are going to pull down this and we are going to prepare the coffee. Look, the first coffee you serve is different than the last one. The last one is stronger. So to get the same caffeine, everything the same in each cup, you have to serve a little bit first in each cup and then the rest. Okay, first a little bit in each cup and then the rest of the cup. Only a little bit. And look at the color, brown. It's not a black coffee. Then the rest of the coffee is the best way to have the same properties. Everything the same in each cup. Take your cups. Don't drink the coffee now. Wait for the others. And I'm going to explain to you how to drink the coffee. Which you smell the product and you imagine the properties in your brain before you taste. Okay. So first, close your eyes and smell 3 times in circles and moving up. Imagine, oh, my coffee has honey properties, lemon, tequila, saturated. It's the best way. Now we are going to slurp. The first slurp to the back to feel bitter. So okay, slurp directly to the back. I want to hear you slurp.
Wait a minute.
The back to feel bitter. Okay. Now to the point of your tongue, 4 or 5 seconds in the point of your tongue to feel sweet. It's not sweet like sugar, but it's sweeter than the back. Now, for me, the easier to recognize even from beginners because some people say to me, but I can't recognize the difference. You have to improve your skills. But now, for me, the easier, even for beginners, is the sides of your tongue.
Sour is on the side of the tongue.
Now, the rest of your coffee, move it in your mouth like brushing your teeth. Okay? So remember the position of the finger. If you don't have the finger like this, is coffee without class. The flavor is not the same. Okay? This coffee with class, delicious. Without class, very bad. Okay? With class. Remember, this coffee has no sugar, has no garlic, no pepper, no honey, nothing added. Because experts say if you add something to your coffee takes those properties. If you add sugar, your coffee is going to taste like sugar now. To feel the properties, only the water and the coffee, no more. Okay? That's why I used to drink the coffee with sugar. Drink it with sugar if you enjoy it in that way. I'm not going to say to you, no, please, always without sugar. No. If you're going to say, oh, I don't want to drink the coffee without sugar. If you're going to enjoy it, don't drink. If you enjoy it with sugar, okay. But I'm saying to you that with sugar, you can't feel the coffee. So maybe you're earning a lot of money on a good coffee, but you add sugar, you're making it. Okay? It's a tip for you. Look. If you have a good coffee, when you end the coffee cup like this, you smell the empty cup. And the empty cup have to smell like caramel, have to smell sweet. If your empty cup doesn't smell sweet, it's because it's not a good coffee, okay? Have to smell like caramel. That's the smell. Okay?
Smell good.
Can I smell yours?
You want to smell it? Cherry type in milk. In milk. Look what happened with the coffee at the milk. When you prepare your coffee in water like this and you add milk, you lose the properties of your coffee. But if inside water you use milk, you avoid different properties. So the cherry type we are going to bring you now, we boil the milk to the same temperature of the water, and we add the coffee. It's only milk and coffee. Okay, separate. No water. Okay. Don't need sugar. A bad coffee don't deserve sugar. Cheers.
Coffee doesn't need sugar, bad coffee doesn't deserve a sugar.
Spice. Fiambre means fin del hambre. In English, end of hunger. Okay. So you know that in the past they have to travel 2-3 days in a mule. And that time in the mule they can't carry a microwave or a fridge lying down. Okay. So they bring their food into these plantain leaves. The breakfast, the lunch, the dinner, everything into these plantain leaves. Why? These plantain leaves preserve the properties of the food for more than 2 days without a microwave or a fridge. So they remember the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner here. There is no food I can say, always the fiambre is this food. No, the fiambre is any food into these plantain leaves. If we put a pizza here, it's fiambre pizza. This fiambre of the most typical dish in the department, bandeja paisa. Okay?
Paisa.
Bandeja paisa.
Without beans. This was the beginning of the bandeja paisa.
That's the thing.
Look. Powdered meat, powdered potato, sweet plantain, egg, rice, and pork. Okay? If you're vegetarian, you can eat the lunch, okay? Now, this is a lunch. And this is a drink. It's called guarap. Or I prefer to call this the Red Bull Ice. Why? This is made with sugar cane, with the brown sugar, the panela. You know what is the panela, the brown sugar? It's the brown sugar made from the sugar cane, okay? So, in the past, the cyclists from Colombia are very good cyclists. In the past, they used to bring a panela in their pocket. When they were in the race, they need energy. They take the panela, they bite a little, they keep the panela in the pocket, and they continue with the race. So these
Sugarcane they eat.
exactly.
No.
So no, it's not sugar cane. It's the water of the sugar cane boiled.
Oh boy.
Mm.
The salt.
Mhm.
Sugar. Okay. So this sugar cane, the panela with lemon and water.
Mhm.
Okay. That's why this is the Red Bull Party. This bring you the
Mhm.
energy. Okay. So this is your lunch for you today. There'll be a minute. I'm going to bring the lunch for you.
Okay, rice with beans.
The next time you return to Colombia. The next time you return to Colombia, Mateo, we want to go to the farm. You cannot live in that house if it's for you. It's a bread for 2 people, but you can bring 10. It doesn't matter, okay? Now, everything you need from today. In a moment, I'm going to bring you a little bit a souvenir. In there, you have our numbers to WhatsApp. It's not this, okay? Our numbers to WhatsApp. You can say to us, Mateo, we forget the medium measure. I said for you. Mateo, we want a video preparing the coffee in the French press. I send it for you. Mateo, we want coffee to United States, to our country. We ship to United States. Okay, everything you need, you type to us and we answer to you. Okay. Now, do you want to buy coffee? At this one, we have only honey type, not sure. Okay, we have pound or half a pound. Half a pound only in beans. Pound grounded or in beans. Okay, the pound of cherry type costs 45,000 Colombian pesos. That is like $12. The half a pound costs 30,000 Colombian pesos. That is like $8. Okay, so tell me how many packages do you want in beans or grounded, and I bring it for you.
What is it? Is a
Yeah,
we can actually legally take it back like it's not.
yeah. Don't worry. Look, we have the Indima register. So some people bring 10 kilograms of coffee, and it doesn't matter. In the airplane.
So it's not
you
considered
don't have
an
problem in the airplane.
agriculture product. Is not considered as an agriculture product.
Don't worry, you don't have problem in the airport. Okay?
So if the officer asked that, what did you bring from Colombia, I can officially say that I brought the coffee.
Yeah,
Because sometimes they ask, oh, what did you bring from Colombia?
yeah, because we have the new register, so you don't have any problem. Yes, for now.
Okay, friends, that's the end of the coffee tour in a farm near Medellin, Colombia. And this is Mateo, that is our tour guide. We had a great time, learned a lot about the coffee. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And we will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.